and with alignment, breathing, and control. So you'll be able to ask your questions after if need be. So sit to stands. You want a kitchen-like chair. You don't want a chair that moves. Some of you are a little beyond the chair sit to stands, and you can do air sit to stands. So that's totally up to you. So I'm going to go through these quickly. Most of you know your alignment practices, but basically sideways, you are going to make sure that your rib cage is over the pelvis. First of all, look down at your legs, make sure that the legs are just a hair wider than hip width. Rib cage over the pelvis, relax everything back. Use your cue, so lengthen the back of the head. If you're doing chair to sits, you want to use a chair first. I did that a little backwards, sorry. You want to sit first and then come up and then align so that you make sure that you're close to that chair. So legs a little bit wider than hip, rib cage over the pelvis, relax your back end, lengthen your neck. So when you sit, you want to sit on the way down. You're focusing on your foot tripod position. On the way up, you're just focusing on lengthening your spine. So use one cue that resonates with you the most on both of those. But remember, when you go to sit, you want to maintain that foot tripod position. And those of you that want to review any of these IMS strategy points, just let me know and we'll do that later on the video. The next thing we want to do, the next exercise on the list is sit to stand, or sit to reach rather. And when you do that, again, you're going to use that kitchen-like chair, and this is really going to involve your feet. So you're going to sit with your cheeks open wide. You want those sit bones nice and wide. You're going to place your ankles right up underneath the knee joints. You want, again, that foot tripod position. The most important thing with the foot tripod position, I think for a lot of people, is remembering to place the center of the heel in between the base of the big toe and the base of the little toe, all right? So you want the knees to face forward, but you don't want to hold on to this so tight. You want to relax. You want to focus on the foot tripod position. Rib cage over the pelvis, lengthen the back of the head there, the spine. So on this position, I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see me sideways. Again, open up those cheeks. I get my alignment, rib cage over the pelvis, lengthen the spine. What you want to do, and you can hold on to your Rolga or a roller or even a weight if you're advanced, you want to just lean forward into the chair like you're going to get up and really focus on the foot tripod position. Here's where you're going to keep a nice long spine, and you're going to reach and lengthen the toes and then come back to that good sit position. So again, reach and widen the toes, maintain a foot tripod position, and come on back. And when you're really thinking about your alignment, breathing, and control, you're really going to feel the back of your legs. So we're going to go over to Heather now. I'm going to unmute. And if anybody has a question on that, please write it down right now. And
yeah, write it down. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm sorry? What'd you say, Beth?
Sorry, I thought I was muted. There's so many distractions at my house at the moment.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm not going to bring it over to Heather. I'm going to make her the host, and then Heather's going to mute you all while she explains the next few exercises. Take it away, Heather.
All right. Okay. Hope everybody sees me. All right, so we're going to check out your alignment. We're going to do some chops. Okay, so I like to think about the rib cage and pelvis being threaded together, so it always stays connected. I'm going to use a ball. You can use a foam roller. You can use a small weight, a lightweight, whatever you feel like doing. Okay, I got my feet tripod. My feet are right outside my hips. Okay, I'm going to take it right about chest height. I'm going to bring it down to the side, keeping my alignment. I'm going to do a little bend. Okay, and you're going to feel your core here. So you got a little hip hinge in here. And that's all it is a little chop. I like to go side to side. You could do one side. Okay, you do one side, or you can alternate. Okay, alternate, opening up the hips, and you're going to feel that core connection with that weight. The next one we're going to do is a march in place, and I'm going to turn to the side on this one. So what we don't want to do is have that back rounding like that. What you don't want to do, we want to keep that TPC alignment and keep that march so the pelvis is still and the legs are moving. Okay, that'll get the blood flowing, and you can do that for about a minute. We'll give you a sheet to give you durations and times. Make sure you're in a safe space to do that. Probably a hard floor would be best. Okay, I'm going to switch it back over to Julianne, and she's going to show you the next two exercises. Does anybody have any questions on that? I'll unmute you all real quick.
Was your ball weighted?
No, this was actually my foam release ball. So that's my trigger point ball. Okay, but you can use a lightweight. I wouldn't use more than 5 pounds for that one for sure. I would say below that. Okay. Anybody else? All right, I'm switching it over to Julianne. All right, here you go, Julianne.
All right. I'm sorry, I had to answer a client that's still trying to get on, so I switched my screen. So just give me 1 second here to get back here. All
Okay.
right, here I am, everybody. All right. So now we're going to go into march with tap knees, and I lost my list here. So you did chops and march in place, correct, Heather?
Yep, you got tap knees, standing, and kitchen counter planks.
All right, I'm going to mute everybody again.
All right, good. Yep.
All right, so now I'm going to go into march and tap knees. So when you march and tap knees, we're going to go over the technique that Heather touched on. So she had you make sure that the low back didn't round. The same is true for tapping your thighs. So when you march, you can up here. Now, one point to make. How do I know if I'm not rounding my back? Just simply put your hand in your low back, and you should feel no movement. No movement. If you're rounding your back, you're going to feel your spine bulge into your hand. That's not what you want, because that's where you're compressing your discs in your spine. So anytime you're marching or tapping, so basically you can lift your knees as high as you can until you feel your back round. So for me, my alignment is still good, and I'm lifting up nice and high to give me a good workout here. But some of you might only be able to lift a little bit like that. So again, that's how you judge, am I really bulging into am I bulging my discs, or am I keeping that low back safe? All right, kitchen counter planks. Now, most of you have done your modified wall planks where you're here, you're on the wall. Sorry, I gotta take my glasses off. All right, you're here, you're on the wall, rib cage over the pelvis, lengthen the spine, hands on the wall, and you're gonna feel as though the wall is widening, and you should feel opening and lengthening here. You're gonna take that same alignment, breathing, and control to the kitchen sink or something that's that level. If you're ready to go beyond, you've done your wall planks, you've done regular planks, and you're ready now to take it down a little bit lower because it will be harder. So you want to get your alignment, breathing, and control first. I'm going to use my desk. I don't think you're going to be able to see me very well. Let me see. There. All right. So alignment, breathing, and control. Rib cage over the pelvis. Make sure that your back end is opened up. Lengthen the spine. And then place your hands shoulder width. Maintain that alignment. All right. Right here. Bend the knees. You want to maintain that nice long spine. And how do I look, Heather? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Oh, she's giving me a thumbs up. Wonderful. So right here, and you can do any variation you want. You can lengthen the spine. You can do some three-dimensional breaths here. And you can, for some of you who are a little more advanced, you can absolutely take this into a push-up. But notice the alignment stays the same. All right. I'm going to switch it over to Heather now. And let me unmute you all first. And while I'm switching over, I can't find her. Hang on. All right, anybody have any questions about that so far? Here she is.
The exercises which you are showing us, do we do those as you introduce those to us in our individual sessions?
I can, yes. We can integrate. That's the goal, to integrate. And you're going to be given this, you're going to be emailed this sheet today. And so we'll explain that a little bit later. So I'm going to make Heather the host now, and she's going to go over 2 more of the exercises.
All right, ready? Here we go. I'm going to mute everybody here. And I'm going to show a plank with a march. So it's like a mountain climber, kind of. All right. I think y'all be able to see me here. I'm a little far away, but I think you guys can see me and hear me. You're widening through the chest, setting your alignment. I'm going to use my table here. Counter would be a little higher. This is going to be a little harder. Okay, but it shows you. Okay, you got your alignment, and I'm just going to march. Okay. So again, what you don't want to do is round that back up. So not there, not there. Keep that alignment, keep that length, and don't forget to breathe. You want to keep those nice full breaths going as you're tapping here, and you're going to feel a lot of your lower abdominals and your core here. Make sure, I got to check in on my rib cage. I felt it lifting. Okay, so that's what happens when you get tired. If that starts to happen, make sure to stop what you're doing, reassess, take a break if you need it. We're going to show you how to configure these exercises too with durations, as well as the sheet. The next one we have is hammer curls. We're going to do either seated or standing. I'm going to show you the seated position. I'm going to be on the edge of my chair so my hands don't hit my chair. And you do want a stable chair as well. I got some weights here. You can use soup cans, you can use bottles of water, improvise if you don't have hand weights. And all it is just a simple hammer curl. You're going to open up the chest, make sure your rib cage is in alignment when you do that. And the elbows are just outside the shoulder. Okay, your wrist lined up with your elbow. You have nice, good control. I'm going to show you standing. Good control on the way down. So you're not swinging your weights. And you maintain your tripod position if you're standing. So you're not rocking. Okay? Any questions on that? I'm going to unmute everybody.
Heather, nice alignment. Whoa.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Good for you. Did everyone see the nice long spine when she did that plank?
Yes.
Plank? That's what we want to create, lengthen our spine. Because when we move our limbs around the core, we want to keep space in the disc. That's really important. All right. Anybody else have any questions so far? We've got 2 more exercises to go through, and then we're going to go into the boredom eating list.
Did you want me to show the doorway one since I have it
Yes,
here?
please.
Okay.
Take it away, Heather.
I'm still
I'll let you show both of those. That
Do the
and
next two?
bounce in the ball.
Okay. Alrighty.
Go ahead and mute everybody though, please, Heather.
Yes.
Thank you.
Alright. So I'm going to use this doorway here. Actually, let me bring it over here. All right. That looks pretty good. So this doorway has a little bit of a step. You don't have to necessarily use a step in a doorway, but to get a little extra added intensity, I'm just going to step up and step down. Step up, step down. So if you have a elevation in your doorway, you can just use that as a little stepper. You don't necessarily have to have it elevated. You can just go back and forth to give you a good length, a good marker rather, to where to step. So you can just use a doorway, or you can just step without a door. Okay? And the next one is bouncing a ball. So I'm going to use my stability ball. And this is a fun one. It's going to be a little loud, but it's fun. All right, so I'm going to get into my tripod position, feet right outside the hips, align here. Okay? Try to look straight ahead and not leaning down and looking at the ball. So looking straight ahead, and just bounce it. You can bounce it side to side, you can play with it, have fun, moving those limbs. Okay? And that's it. Add some little fun to your exercise, gets the heart rate up a little bit. Just make sure not to look down. All right, any questions on that one? Or those two? Nope, no questions on that one? Okay, I think we'll get into...
What call are you taking?
Steve.
Go ahead.
Does he know?
Yeah.
We're done on the exercises now. Could you make me the host again, please, Heather?
I guess so.
She did a great job, don't you think?
Yes, very good.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So, let me mute everybody. Sorry. Can't find my mute all. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next. I'm going to share my screen again. Well, hang on. All right, everybody see my screen now? All right. So again, so we went over all of these exercises, all right? Now there's many, many different ways that you can do each exercise, and you'll be given your sheet, you'll be emailed your sheet today, and you can write your little notes down there. If you have any questions, you can call Heather or myself, and we'll walk you through those. If you need more intensity on some of them or less intensity, you know, everybody's different. So we're also on your list, you'll be given the different levels to choose from. So level number 1, choose 3 exercises from the list and perform 1 minute each exercise, 3 rounds of it. So that should take you about 10 to 12 minutes. Because it does take some time. Remember, you must always align before you begin every exercise. Level 2, choose 4 exercises from the list, perform 1 to 1.5 minutes each, 3 rounds of that. And of course, that's going to take you up probably about close to 20 minutes or so. And then level 3, you want to add on by choosing 2 to 4 more exercises from the list. All right. So we've kind of wanted to dangle a carrot in front of you guys and get you moving a little bit more and thinking a little bit more about your home exercise programs. So we're going to make this into win your way to better health. So step number 1, you want to build your ready, set, go workout. You want to choose your equipment, timer, etc., the area that you're going to work out in, and then document as you go on a daily basis. We want you to take a picture of your logged in notes and along with the feedback. What didn't work for you, what worked for you, what were your modifications to make the workout sufficient for your goals? What did you like best about the process? What did you like least? And you're going to email that after you take a picture, email that to yourmovementsolutions@gmail.com by May 30th. And someone or all of you, maybe, we'll see how you all do, you'll win a 15-minute personalized session online. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about real quick here is boredom eating. So I'm going to take everybody off of mute. We'll spend the next couple of minutes. I want anybody with a little bit of problem in this area, and we all have problems in this area, so I'm not singling anybody out. Everyone's got issues with this problem. So go ahead and just ask your question. What are you struggling with boredom eating? Oh, hang on. Let me unmute you all first. All right, you're all unmuted. So please go ahead and ask your questions. Anybody? No? They're so silent. All right. Well, we're going to go over some ways, some tips to kind of combat your boredom eating. So do any of you have trouble with a sweet tooth? The way you get around that, yeah, me too, right? So the way you get around that is to implement more vegetables early on in your day. Now that requires a little bit more planning. So you always plan the night before or the day before for the next day, whether that be meals, snacks, that sort of thing. When you plan, always write it down. So some of the other things that we deal with, I know I do, is when you open up the fridge and you haven't planned and you're like, oh, well, there's an unhealthy choice in there. So the way to combat that is to make something fun. So get a wine glass or whatever your favorite glass is that you like to drink out of. Wash up some raspberries, sliced strawberries, cherries, whatever you like. Put it in the bottom and put some soda water or some seltzer water or some plain water. Put something of a clear liquid that's not too bad for you. Of course, we don't want any ginger ale or anything like that with a high sugar in it, of course, or fruit juices, anything like that. We want, you know, more towards the water choice. And just kind of sip on that, and then you can eat the fruit up after. So there's many, many ways. The other trick is if you know that you shouldn't be eating at that particular time, close your eyes and go through in your mind your last meal, taking every bite in your mouth. You will certainly become full very quickly. That mind trick really works well. You'd be surprised. Also, thinking about something that grosses you out. So think about a roach. That's pretty gross to me. Dirty socks, I don't know, whatever thing that you can think about that really is gross to you. And if you're thinking about, I don't know why it would be in your fridge, but chocolate cake that's in your fridge, think about the dirty socks or the roach like on top of that. you'll be very quick to think, oh yeah, I don't want to eat that. Go for a walk. Do your ready, set, go exercises. Light a scented candle, and not one that smells like cookies or something that you eat. All right. So there's many, many ways to combat boredom eating, but again, it boils down to planning. So I'm going to share my screen with you again and take you through. So the next thing we're going to do, the last thing, I know I'm running a little bit over, but this is the release that we're using for your levator scapula, which is the muscle. Can you see my cursor here? Can everybody see that? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Yeah? Okay, good. So it's the muscle running from the base of your skull all the way into the top of the shoulder blade here. Runs along this way. So I'm going to share with you this video that Dr. Osar is using our activator. You can use a tennis ball for this. You can do this seated as well. One of my clients that's online with me right now, she's doing this particular release seated. So the main thing is not to put it on your shoulder blade. You never put it on your bone. You put it right in that fleshy part up there. So I'm going to play the recording.
Finger is right there, right at the attachment of the scapula on the scapula. Now I just have her hold this position and breathe. So she's getting a little compression. Focus on lengthening through her shoulder. Imagine the shoulder is coming long away from her neck. Just visualizing that. And now I'll also have her just do a little bit of neck rotation to the opposite side. Remember, the levator scapula rotates your head towards the same side. So have her do a little bit of rotation towards the opposite side as she breathes. On the attachment to lengthen that levator scapula. Does that make sense? Just give me a thumbs up or just say yes in the comment section. What we got?
All right. So today, you will receive in via yourmovementsolutions@gmail.com. We will send you your Ready, Set, Go exercise selection workout sheet and instructions. We will send you how to win that 15-minute online personal training session, the instruction sheet for that, and we're going to send you the photo and instructions to that levator scapula release that you just watched. And then Monday morning, you're going to watch for Julianne and Heather's 25 ways to combat boredom eating in your movementsolutions@gmail.com in your bi-weekly emails. So I want to thank you all for joining Heather and I today.
Yes, thank you so much.
I hope that you learned a little something. I always like to say this because a lot of you have been with Heather and I, or Heather or I, for a length of time. Some of you have not, Debbie. But anyway, I'm singling her out. So always remember, I like to think of it this way. If I can take one thing away from somebody, it was all worth it to me. So if you didn't get that one thing today, if you didn't learn one thing, call me. Let's discuss it. Or call Heather. Let's discuss it. Because I want our purpose, Heather and I's purpose for keeping in touch with you on our new platform that we're very excited about is to give you more outside of what you get from our sessions, because that's our job. We want to keep you happy and healthy, not only during the hour that you spend with us, but outside of that hour. And so that's our goal. And we will be launching our website in a couple of weeks. We'll be announcing that. But thank you all for coming. And at this point, we'll open up the floor to any questions that you may have about fitness.
Julianne, as you were speaking
Yes.
about boredom eating, you said when you plan, write it down. What did that mean?
Oh, perfect question, Kathy. Thank you.
Welcome.
So we can have the best intentions in the world of saying, tomorrow, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to, really eat healthy. But tomorrow comes and okay, the phone rings and I've got an unexpected phone call that takes an hour. Or somebody shows up at my door and, well, maybe not right now during COVID, but something interrupts our day that interrupts your ability to wash up and cut and dice and slice your vegetables or your fruit or plan around your quinoa-based lunch or dinner, that sort of thing. You can have the best intentions here, but unless you write it down, generally speaking, it's least likely to happen or lesser likely to happen. So when you're struggling with boredom eating, this is a huge one because all of these things that we eat out of boredom are added calories that we really didn't need to consume. And then guess what? You've got to exercise all of that off, or you're gonna gain weight from that. So if you write down a plan of action, and you'll be given the list, this will be emailed out Monday morning. So when you write down some strategies, you got to figure out where your weakness is first. Is it because I'm buying things that I shouldn't be? Is it because I'm eating too much? It might be something healthy even that you're eating in between meals that maybe it's got too many calories or you're eating too much of it. You don't really need it. So these are things that you really have to work out and understand what your real glitch is. And that's where you problem solve around. So if you can write it down and problem solve through it, well, when I think about the chocolate cake that's in the fridge, A, I'm not going to buy any more sweet stuff for right now. And B, I'm going to combat it by I'm going to eat a green apple. Or when I think about it, I'm going to go for a walk. So you have to problem solve. And if you write it down, you'll be able to connect with it. Oh yeah, I wrote that down. Even if you put it on the fridge, what your strategy is, read it when you go to the fridge or the cupboard, whatever it may be, and then actually do it. You're more likely to do it if it's written down. Did I answer that question, Kathy?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anybody else have any questions about fitness or boredom eating?
I do.
Okay.
I do. How do vegetables early on help combat a sweet tooth?
I love that question.
Does Bailey's in your coffee count as a bad thing?
Okay, I think I heard two questions there. So let's go with the first question. So Beth's question was, how do vegetables curb your sweet tooth later on? The more vegetables, because I don't care who you are, unless you are a trained athlete, by the way, and none of us are. By that, I mean that's your full-time job, because those folks have to really watch what they eat. So they're probably, for the most part, getting in enough vegetables, but most of us do not eat enough vegetables. So what do vegetables do? They give us added nutrients. They give us fewer calories, and you always have to say compared to what. So I know you've heard, oh, don't eat an apple, or don't eat a banana, and don't eat carrots because they're high in sugar. Really? Compared to what? If you're diabetic, yes, you have to pay attention to that. But if you're not, okay, it's natural sugars compared to what? The chocolate cake in the fridge? Y'all are gonna think I've got chocolate cake stored in the fridge. I don't. So you always have to think compared to what? So vegetables early on in the day, if you get some in for breakfast, If you get some in for lunch, and by the way, lunch should be focused around vegetables. In other words, vegetables should be your main highlight of the meal. You're going to fill your body with volume, high fiber, less calories, and we can call it per square inch, all right? Your cravings will go down. And how do I know that? I've been there and done it. Did that answer that question, Beth? Are you there, Beth?
Well, kinda. I mean,
So,
okay, so
in
you're
other words,
filling
you've
up
got
on
to
things
implement
you
that,
want.
and this you've got to implement that. So this ties into Kathy's question on, well, what do you mean write it down? Okay, so if you're struggling with a sweet tooth, you have to write down, first of all, I struggle with a sweet tooth. Okay, what are going to be my strategies or strategy for dealing with that? All right, I'm going to try Julian's and Heather's tip on eating more vegetables and putting them early on in the day. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to implement them for breakfast and lunch. So I'm going to eat half a green pepper in with my breakfast. I'm going to make my lunch. I'm going to make the vegetable as the highlight of the lunch, and whatever else I'm eating with it, you know, that's going to be like a side dish. And try that for 7 days. See what happens. And put down your thoughts. On day 6, this ain't working. But I bet you that it will work. I mean, that's one strategy. That was my strategy. And it really worked. But you got to do it. You got to write it down, and you got to stick with it. Is that a better explanation?
Sure, yeah, thank you.
Okay, perfect. And then your second part B question was,
Only
is coffee
kidding.
good? Oh, you were kidding?
On the Baileys and the coffee, you know.
Oh, I didn't hear the Bailey's part.
Sounds good.
My only problem with that is she didn't invite me over for Bailey's and coffee. Rude.
Hey, you could have done this thing right now from my house. I would have been.
I'm gonna take you up on that offer next time.
Next week.
Next week, that's right.
There you
Yes.
go.
Okay. All right. Are there
All
any
right.
more questions relating to fitness and boredom eating? Going once? Going twice? And we're closed. All right. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you had fun. And if we're not having fun, we're not living, right? But we want to be healthy and healthier and more fit. And so look for your emails this morning from yourmovementsolutions@gmail.com. You're going to be given everything that we discussed this morning. If you didn't learn one thing, please reach out to Heather and I, and we'll make sure that we teach you something else or some other related tidbit that can help you out. All right. So thank you again. Have
Thank you.
fit
Thank
and
you.
fabulous day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, and stay
Bye.
safe out there.
Stay safe.